Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, July 22, 2015. A seemingly ordinary summer night. The air was thick with humidity, the silence broken only by the chirping of crickets. But behind the facade of normalcy, a storm was brewing inside the Bever family home. A storm of unimaginable violence that would shatter the peace of this quiet suburb and leave an indelible scar on the community. This is the story of a family torn apart by an unspeakable act, a story of unimaginable loss and the enduring strength of the human spirit. The patriarch of the family, David Bever, was a quiet, unassuming man who worked long hours to provide for his family. His wife, April, was a stay-at-home mom, devoted to her children but seemingly isolated from the outside world. The couple had 5 sons and 2 daughters, ranging in age from 5 to 19. Robert, the eldest at 19, was described by some as quiet and withdrawn, while his younger brother Michael, 17, was known for his quick temper and volatile personality. The Bever children rarely ventured outside their home. They were homeschooled, their social interactions limited to the confines of their family. Neighbors rarely saw the children playing outside, and when they did, they were struck by their quiet demeanor and the watchful eyes of their older brothers. There were whispers of strange occurrences at the Bever household, of arguments heard through the walls and glimpses of the children with bruises they couldn't explain, but fear kept most neighbors from prying, leaving the family to their isolation and their secrets. The horror began shortly before midnight. Armed with knives and swords, Robert and Michael Bever, fueled by a chilling plan they had been plotting for months, unleashed their fury on their unsuspecting family. The attack was swift and brutal, leaving their parents and 3 younger siblings dead in their wake. The house, once filled with the sounds of a large family, fell silent, the only sounds the labored breathing of the wounded and the chilling echoes of violence. The first victim was their mother, April. She was attacked while sleeping, her cries for help cut short. The 2 brothers then turned their rage on their father, David, who fought back desperately, but was ultimately overpowered. The younger siblings, caught in the crossfire, stood no chance. The attack was methodical and merciless, each blow delivered with chilling precision. The brothers moved through the house, leaving a trail of blood and bodies in their wake. Unbeknownst to the killers, 13-year-old Daniel Bever, hiding in terror, managed to grab a phone and dial 911. His voice, trembling with fear, painted a horrifying picture for the dispatcher. He whispered about the carnage, his pleas for help becoming increasingly frantic as he described his brothers attacking their family. The dispatcher, initially skeptical, quickly realized the gravity of the situation. Daniel's call was a beacon of hope in the darkness. The dispatcher, her voice a lifeline, kept Daniel on the line, urging him to stay hidden and reassuring him that help was on the way. His whispered descriptions of the attackers, their weapons, and the layout of the house proved invaluable to the responding officers, allowing them to formulate a plan and prepare for the horrors that awaited them. Daniel's courage in the face of unimaginable terror would ultimately save his life and the life of his younger sister. Finding strength amidst the horror, the survival of Autumn and Crystal. While Daniel was on the phone with 911, his 2-year-old sister, Autumn, slept peacefully in her crib, oblivious to the horrors unfolding around her. Meanwhile, 14-year-old Crystal, severely wounded, was fighting for her life. She had managed to escape the initial attack, her cries for help muffled by the chaos. As police sirens pierced the night, Robert and Michael fled the scene, leaving behind a scene of unimaginable carnage. Arriving officers, their senses assaulted by the sights and smells of the massacre, discovered Daniel hiding, his small frame shaking with terror. They found Crystal, clinging to life, her will to survive fueled by the instinct to protect her baby sister. In the nursery, they found Autumn, untouched and unharmed, a beacon of innocence amidst the darkness. Apprehending evil. The capture of Robert and Michael Bever. The manhunt for Robert and Michael Bever began immediately. Police swarmed the area, their faces grim, their movements urgent. The brothers, now the subjects of a nationwide manhunt, were considered armed and extremely dangerous. Schools and businesses were placed on lockdown, and residents were warned to stay inside and report any suspicious activity. The escape was short-lived. A K-9 unit tracked the brothers sent to a wooded area behind their home. They were apprehended without incident, their clothing stained with blood, their faces emotionless. The news of their capture spread through Broken Arrow like wildfire, a collective sigh of relief sweeping through the community. The monsters who had shattered their peace were caught, but the scars of their crimes would remain. Justice served? The sentences. The Bever brothers were charged as adults with 5 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of assault and battery with intent to kill. The trial was a harrowing spectacle, the courtroom packed with grieving family members and stunned members of the community. Prosecutors detailed the brothers' meticulous planning, their chilling lack of remorse, and the brutal efficiency with which they carried out their crimes. The defense argued that the brothers were victims themselves, subjected to years of abuse and neglect that warped their minds and drove them to commit unspeakable acts. The jury deliberated for less than 3 hours before returning with a verdict, guilty on all counts. Robert and Michael Bever were sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The judge, visibly shaken by the details of the case, called the brothers' crimes heinous, atrocious, and utterly evil, their actions a betrayal of the most basic human bonds of family and love. Section 8. Scars on the Heart of Broken Arrow, the Aftermath. The Bever family massacre sent shockwaves through Broken Arrow and beyond. The community, once a symbol of suburban tranquility, was now forever linked to the horrors that unfolded on that hot July night. Neighbors struggled to comprehend how such darkness could fester within a family living among them, their sense of security shattered. The surviving siblings, Daniel and Crystal, faced an uncertain future, forever marked by the trauma they endured. They were taken in by relatives, their lives irrevocably altered, their childhood innocence stolen. The community rallied around them, offering support and love, but the scars of that night would forever linger. Section 9. Seeking answers in the darkness, the motive. In the aftermath of the massacre, investigators and the public grappled with the question that haunted everyone's minds: why? What could drive 2 teenage boys to slaughter their own family in such a cold-blooded and calculated manner? The answer, it seemed, lay buried in the twisted psyches of Robert and Michael Bever. Interviews and writings from the brothers painted a disturbing picture of 2 young men consumed by darkness. They harbored a deep hatred for their parents, viewing them as controlling and oppressive. They fantasized about violence, their minds warped by a steady diet of violent video games and internet gore. They planned the murders for months, amassing an arsenal of weapons and meticulously plotting their every move. Their goal, it seemed, was not just to kill their family, but to achieve notoriety, to become infamous for their crimes. Section 10. The Bever Family Massacre. A stark reminder. The Bever family massacre serves as a stark reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of seemingly ordinary lives. It is a story that defies easy answers, forcing us to confront the complexities of human nature and the devastating consequences of unchecked rage and resentment. This tragedy also underscores the importance of recognizing the warning signs of domestic violence and mental illness. The Bever brothers' history of isolation, anger issues, and fascination with violence should have raised red flags. Perhaps with early intervention and support, this tragedy could have been averted. Section 11. A community rebuilds, hope endures. In the wake of unimaginable tragedy, the community of Broken Arrow demonstrated remarkable resilience. They came together to mourn the victims, support the survivors, and begin the long process of healing. Candlelight vigils illuminated the night, offering solace and solidarity. Counselors and support groups provided a safe space for residents to process their grief and trauma. The Bever family massacre left an indelible mark on Broken Arrow, but it did not break their spirit. From the ashes of tragedy, a renewed sense of community emerged. Neighbors looked out for one another, offering support and understanding. Parents hugged their children a little tighter, cherishing the preciousness of life. And through it all, the spirit of hope endured, a testament to the enduring strength of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable darkness.